And how big is Kiel? Just to put it in the context of the size of the city and what are people used to when they, I don't know, how often they meet foreigners and so on.
So I wouldn't say that it's so common to meet foreigners. I think it's because Geomar, the institute where I'm working at, it's a really big institute and there are a lot of internationals there. So if you are in the vicinity, it is common, especially because we have also some platforms and some facilities outside. And then when people are walking around, they meet us working there and they stop by and ask questions. And of course, they always ask in German, but they are also quite friendly when they realize you don't speak German, and then they start talking to you in English. Also, there are a few big cruising lines that go to Oslo and Gothenburg, and I'm not sure where else. So there is a lot of foreigners coming and going, like on a daily basis. But the city itself, it's not huge. I think it's like 150,000, 200,000 inhabitants. I would say the size is perfect for me because you have everything quite close. By bus, you can get everywhere in like half an hour. You can walk to many places also in like half an hour. If you have a bike, people are biking here a lot, and they usually get by like in 10, 20 minutes to wherever they need to go. It's really great in that sense. But I do get why people say it's a village because we don't have like a lot of places where you can, I don't know, just go out.
I see. We can say it's like a small city, kind of, yes.
Definitely. It is. It actually, so in Germany, like, I don't know how many regions there are, but the region where I'm living, it's called Schleswig-Holstein. And it's like this northern region, like above Hamburg until the border with Denmark. It's Schleswig-Holstein. And Kiel is the capital of that region.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool. Because my study experience in Lund when I started was in a small village. And it was also like, yes, it was also this, we had this kind of shifted perspective that we are in this at institute, they were all foreigners. Like there were, of course, a couple of Austrians, but really not many. And then when you go outside, it's people from the countryside. And then you expect them to welcome you the same way how the people at the institute welcomed you. And this is, of course, completely different, like standing point. So it was, it took us a while to figure that out, I think.
yeah, but
Cool.
honestly, I think that a lot of people say that Germans are cold. And I mean, I have some people that are Germans and that I'm close with, and I would never say that they are cold in any way. But also, there's a lot of people that I just meet on the street in a way that, like, if I go to the supermarket and I need help, like, they're always really willing to help you. Or sometimes it even happened that I was riding a bike and some lanes were closed and I needed some directions because the Google Maps was not really directing me in the right direction. And the lady on the street, like, I just asked the first older lady that I could find on the street, and she was super willing to help me. And because my German was really crappy at a time, she even was like, yeah, come after me and then I will show you where to go. So I really don't think that they're cold. I think that's a really, I mean, it can happen maybe in the bigger cities, but here I didn't encounter such people.
I would like to ask you about the everyday life in Kiel. What does the typical day, your weekday, like, or actually weekday and weekend day, let's say, in Kiel looks like?
I think it's a bit tough to talk about that because I wake up at 5 and I wake up at 5 willingly. So I go to the institute when there is no
This is
one,
not
right?
genetic, I would say. A genetic trait then.
No, not at all. So I go, and maybe this is also important to say. So I wake up between 4 and 5, and I have a dog. and I need to walk that dog before going to work, before going to the institute, or I take the dog with me. But my point is, I go out on the street very early and I never encountered any issues. I never encountered a person that was weird in any sense. It even happened to me once that my dog was, I think, either she was sick or she just wanted to go out in the middle of the night. And it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I took her out, and there was another person walking their dog. It's just like nobody's talking to you, not even like it was a guy. So he was not even, I don't know, making a comment or something, because I imagine in Serbia, people would make comments like, I don't know, oh, are you also on the street? Or, ah, is it cold? And this kind of stuff, because it's not common that you're out that in the middle of the night just to walk a dog.
I think the Marta is very scary.
She's 8.5 kilos, so she's not a big dog. So I would say that it's really amazing in that sense. Of course, there are areas that are a bit more sketchy, as I would say in every German city. So around the train stations, like people should really be careful. But most of the areas here in Kiel are quite safe. So so as I said, I go out at like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, and people in the bus are not talking to you. People in the bus are not looking at you. Nobody is making any weird comments, as I said. And then I'm at work, as we already mentioned, like people are really kind. I would say that it's really important to learn to communicate things clearly, because I also think that's one thing that Germans really value and care about, not to express your what you want to do or what you don't want to do in a way that they can't distinguish what you mean. In a sense that if you don't feel like doing something, if they ask you to do something and you say, I don't feel comfortable with this, I don't have time for this, I don't like this or whatever, they would understand. But if you say, I can do it, let's see when, then it, I would say that that's when they start being kind of cold and distant, because they don't want to kind of get mixed up in this weird communication. So I would say like that's my working day. Like after work, I mean go out with my dog. I see some friends sometimes. I would say that people are mostly going out during the weekend. But it can happen that we just meet during the weekday as well, if the weekday was not really intense. And then during the weekends, I would say that it really depends on the weather. So it's a city in the northern Germany, and it can be quite rainy, it can be quite windy, it can be cold. So as long as there is even a glimpse of sun, people are outside. So you do whatever you can. So you either go somewhere on a train and then end up somewhere. You go with a bike and then to the beach or to the fjord, or you just have a walk. So people really prefer to be outside if the weather is at least a bit nice.
And would you say that there are many like nice recreational places to go, for example, for a weekend?
Think, unfortunately, if you rely on the train or on the public transport, not so much. Yes, yes. But I think if you have a car, like there are so many other places that you can visit, because one thing is that the train transport is quite unreliable. The trains get canceled so often, especially if you want to go to Hamburg. So the train line between Hamburg and Kiel is one of the worst in Germany. The trains get canceled the most there. And also it can happen that on the app, it's written that the train will leave from the main station. And then while you're waiting for the train on the main station, you get a notification on the platform that the train was switched to another train station. So it's really hard to move around with trains, but other train lines are more reliable. That is true. But if you want to rely on Kiel exclusively, there are a few places that you can visit, which are nice. Like there is a forest that it has like a fence, but it's a big forest. It's really not like a zoo or something. It's a proper forest. It has fences because there are deer inside. and they're just running around, they're just chilling, and it's really nice when you're just sitting on the bench and you can see a deer just walking by you. It's a really nice feeling. Or as I said, you can go to the fjord, you can go to the beach. During winter months, there is a sauna open by the fjord. It's not my cup of tea, but a lot of people go to the sauna and then they go to the fjord and then they do that multiple times and things like that.
Okay.